Having a team can be wonderful. It frees you up to do the things that you should be doing. Not the mundane things that you need to be done and have to be done, but just not by you. That's where your team steps in and takes care of that for you. Now, there are good and bad points of having a team. Like I said, more freedom, flexibility, time to work on money making projects. That's the good part of having a team. Now, freelancers who work in teams may disagree on which path to choose. This can lead to conflicts and hold up progress on accomplishing the task that you assign at hand. Successful teamwork has several key attributes, including interdependence, constructive feedback, open communication, good management, reliability, and commitment. Unfortunately, few teams possess these attributes. For example, some team members may work more than others or complete entire projects by themselves, but their efforts go unnoticed. I'm going to talk about 5 pitfalls of having a team. Now, they're not really actually pitfalls, these are things that can be corrected, but I'm talking about the disadvantages sometimes of having a team and how you can fix them. Now, the first thing is lack of communication. You need to have constant communication with your team in order for communication not to break down. You should be available to curb any misunderstandings before things get out of hand or out of control. Communication needs to be high across the board in order for your team to be effective. Communication, excuse me, sometimes can be misinterpreted by emails, text messages, or any type of written communication by words that can be taken the wrong way. You know how sometimes people can write something to you in an email or a text and they don't mean any harm as they're writing it, but as you're reading it, you can take it, excuse me, I got a cough here. You can take it the wrong way. The context is not the same when you're reading it as when someone's talking to you in person. So that is the way you, as the team leader or business owner, you need to keep the lines of communication open so nobody gets upset. And also, here's another pitfall of having a team: lack of leadership. Now, you, the business owner, have to step up as the leader. As the team leader, you have to make sure that you are communicating with your teammates regularly. You need to set up a weekly or a monthly meeting so everyone is on the same page. You, the team leader, need to set expectations and keep your team focused on its goals. You need to keep your team motivated and keep up the team morale. And at the same time, you need to hold people accountable. So have clear, set standards and make sure that everyone feels comfortable to air their grievances and that you know what they need help with. You have to consistently talk with people, your team members, because if you don't ask, you don't know what they're doing. You want to create a dialogue with your teammates to make sure that they don't get bogged down with work and if they need assistance with anything. Make sure when you're having your team meetings, you're doing it by video chat. If your team is virtual, a face to face won't happen. That is why a video chat is very important. Having a face to face video makes a world of difference. That way, you can see your team members' facial expressions and if they are holding back on anything that might be bothering them. And if you're doing that by text or if you're doing that by Slack, if you're doing that by email, you can't see their facial expressions. And sometimes your team members may be afraid to tell you that they're having a problem. So if you're having a video face to face, because you are looking at each other, you can tell that they're not really expressing themselves and letting you know that, hey, I'm having an issue over here, or I'm having a hard time, or I don't feel comfortable telling you exactly how I feel. Now, you want to be the type of leader where you can create a positive environment where your teammates will thrive. Open and honest communication should be encouraged at all times. It's up to the team leader, you, to explain progress or setbacks. You should encourage team members to voice any concerns they may have as long as they do it in a positive way. Having a lack of defined goals. That's another negative. If you want your freelancers to work together as a team, you need to give them clearly defined outline goals. Give your team members an individual goal. Everyone doesn't thrive working in a team environment. I'm not saying that they can't or they won't work in a team environment. Some people are introverts, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some teammates will do their best work alone than in a group. People are going to have a different work style, and you need to know what their work style is. These different work styles can be very beneficial and allow for a fresh perspective. This will allow you, the business owner, to set defined goals for your team's individual work style. Now, another negative is there could be clashes and conflicts on the team. If you do your job the right way as the business owner, team leader, you will develop a team that has strong communication skills and they trust their other team members to get the job done correctly. But if one of the team members feels that they're pulling all the weight of the job, they're doing everything by themselves. Now, that may not be true, but they may be feeling that way. And other people are not doing what they're supposed to do. Excuse me, that can cause the clashes and conflicts. Do you have a team member who was always late getting his or her project turned in? And the other person is waiting on this person to finish his end of the project before they can do what they need to do, and they can't do it until this team member is done. Then the team member who is always waiting on the one who's late with his or her project will eventually start to feel resentful, and you can't blame them. They can start looking at that person as a freeloader or a free rider. People will start to focus on who is right or who is wrong and which side to take rather than getting the job done. And you don't want that to happen. This can add undue stress to the entire team, which will cause your productivity to go down. Make sure that you take care of any misunderstandings right away. Another negative is lack of proper training. Now, if you want your freelancers to work well as a team, then you need to make sure that they all have proper training. Because you hired the person and they may know how to do the job doesn't mean that they don't need to be trained to the way you want the job done. Everyone does things differently. So you need to train your freelancer how you want the job done. And that comes with training that individual. And you just don't train them one time. You might have to train and keep an eye on them the first couple of weeks, or I would say maybe the first month before you can feel free and feel that they are trained well enough where you can just feel free not to let them go, but not keep such a close eye on them. Let me put it like that. Ongoing training is a great way to make sure that the freelancer is aware of their job responsibilities and they feel like a part of the team.